I want to tell you about the elevator in my old apartment building. Not because it's haunted in the way you think. No flickering lights or ghostly figures or doors that open onto walls. It's worse than that. It's the elevator that took me to the wrong floor, and then to the floor that doesn't exist, and then to the place I can't stop thinking about, even though I know that thinking about it is what gives it permission to find me again. I lived on the 14th floor. 14th, that's important. The building had 22 floors total, and the elevator had a button for each one. Normal, right? Standard. I rode that elevator every day for 3 years. I knew its quirks, the way it shuddered between the 8th and 9th floors, the way the doors took too long to close on humid days, the way the little digital display above the panel would sometimes flicker, showing a floor number that didn't match where you were going. But I never worried about it. Elevators are machines. Machines break. Machines get fixed. There's nothing supernatural about a loose wire or a faulty sensor. That's what I told myself the first time it happened. I was coming home from work, late, around 11 at night. I was tired. The kind of tired where your thoughts don't connect properly, and your reflection in the elevator doors looks like a stranger. I got in on the ground floor. I pressed 14. The doors closed. The elevator started going up. I wasn't paying attention. I was scrolling through my phone, checking emails I didn't care about. The elevator shuddered between 8 and 9 like it always did. Then it kept going. I looked up when I felt it slow down. The digital display said 14. The doors opened. I stepped out, and I knew immediately that something was wrong. The hallway was wrong. The paint was the wrong color. A pale green instead of the usual beige. The lights were dimmer, almost amber like old-fashioned bulbs. The carpet was different too, thicker, darker, and there were no numbers on the doors, just smooth wood, each one identical, stretching down a corridor that seemed longer than it should have been. I turned around. The elevator doors were still open. I could see the inside of the cab. The scratched panel, the gray carpet, the flickering light, everything normal. I stepped back inside. I pressed the lobby button. The doors closed. The elevator went down. When they opened again, I was in my lobby. The doorman nodded at me. I nodded back. I walked to the stairs and climbed up to the 14th floor. The real 14th floor, just to be sure. Beige walls, bright lights, numbers on the doors. My apartment was there, key still in my pocket, everything fine. I told myself I had gotten off on the wrong floor. Maybe my finger had slipped. Maybe I'd pressed 16 instead of 14. The building didn't have a pale green hallway on 16. But my brain was tired. I was misremembering. I forgot about it. Or wait a week later, it happened again. Same time of night, late, after work. Same exhaustion. I pressed 14. The elevator shuddered between 8 and 9. Then it kept going. I looked at the display. It said 14. The doors opened. The pale green hallway. The amber lights. The long corridor of identical wooden doors. This time I didn't step out. I stood in the elevator and watched. The hallway was empty, silent. But something about it made my skin crawl. The air coming through the open doors smelled different. Not bad, just wrong. Like flowers that had been pressed in a book for too long. Like the inside of a drawer that hadn't been opened in decades. I pressed the lobby button. The doors closed. The elevator went down. I took the stairs to my real floor. The third time, I decided to experiment. I'm a curious person. Stupid, maybe, but curious. I got in the elevator at 11 at night. I pressed 14. The elevator shuddered between 8 and 9. The display flickered. The doors opened onto the green hallway, and this time I stepped out. The air was colder than the elevator. Not freezing, just absent. Like the warmth had been removed rather than replaced by cold. I walked a few steps down the hallway. The carpet was soft under my shoes. Too soft. It felt like walking on moss. I looked at the first door. No number, no peephole. Just smooth wood with a brass handle that gleamed in the amber light. I didn't knock. I'm not insane. I walked further. The hallway seemed to stretch. I looked back at the elevator. The doors were still open. The light inside was normal. Harsh, white, flickering. It looked like a little rectangle of reality in a place that wasn't quite real. I told myself I had 30 seconds. Then I'd go back. I passed 5 doors, 6, 7, each one identical. No sound from behind any of them. No light under the cracks. Just silence. The kind of silence that isn't empty. The kind of silence that listens. I stopped at the 8th door. I don't know why. Something about it felt different. The brass handle was warmer than the others. I could see my reflection in it, distorted. My face stretched long and thin like a funhouse mirror. I leaned closer. My reflection leaned closer. And then my reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. I stumbled backward. My heel caught on the carpet, and I fell hard onto my back. The air went out of me. I lay there on that too soft floor staring at the ceiling. The ceiling was wrong too. No light fixtures. No vents. Just a smooth, pale surface that seemed to breathe. Rise and fall. Rise and fall. Like the whole hallway was a lung. I scrambled to my feet and ran back to the elevator. I slammed the close button. The doors shut. I pressed lobby. The elevator went down. When I got to the lobby, the doorman asked me if I was okay. I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I was shaking so hard I could barely sign the guest log. I didn't take the elevator for 2 weeks. I walked up 14 flights of stairs every night. My legs ached. My lungs burned, but I didn't want to see that green hallway again. I didn't want to see my reflection smile when I wasn't smiling. But the stairs had their own problems. On the 8th night of taking the stairs, I noticed something strange. The stairwell had a door on every floor, labeled with the floor number, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 22. But on the landing between the 13th and 15th floors, there was an extra door. It wasn't labeled. It was painted the same pale green as the hallway in my dreams, and it had a brass handle that gleamed in the dim light. I stopped on the landing. I stared at the door. I had climbed these stairs hundreds of times. I knew every crack in the concrete, every scuff mark on the walls. That door had never been there before. I reached out to touch the handle. It was warm, just like the one in the hallway. I pulled my hand back. I ran up the remaining steps to my floor and locked my apartment door behind me. That night, I dreamed about the elevator. I dreamed I was inside it, going up. The floors ticking past on the display. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The doors opened onto my floor, beige walls, bright lights, normal. But when I stepped out, I wasn't in my hallway. I was in the green hallway, and the elevator behind me was gone. I walked down the corridor. The doors were open now. All of them. Each room was dark, but I could see shapes inside. Furniture, a bed, a chair, and in one room, a figure sitting on the edge of the bed, facing away from me. Small, hunched. Its shoulders moved like it was crying. I wanted to run. I couldn't. My feet carried me forward, past the open doors, past the crying figure, to the end of the hallway. There was a mirror there, a full-length mirror standing alone, propped against the wall. I looked into it. My reflection looked back, normal, tired, scared. Then my reflection reached up and pressed its palms against the glass from the other side. The glass rippled, like water, like it wasn't glass at all. My reflection opened its mouth. It said, "You're not supposed to be here. This is my floor. Go back to yours." I woke up gasping. My hands were pressed against my bedroom mirror. I don't have a mirror in my bedroom. I woke up with my palms flat against the glass of a mirror that I have never owned, in an apartment where no mirror has ever hung. I pulled back. My palms left prints on the glass, wet prints. And when I looked at my hands, they were clean, dry. The prints on the mirror weren't from sweat or water. They were from something else, something that had been on the other side. I moved out of that building. A month later, I broke my lease. Paid a penalty. I didn't care. I found an apartment on the 3rd floor of a building, with no elevator, no stairs to speak of, just a single flight up from the street. No green hallways, no extra doors, no mirrors in the bedroom. For 6 months, I was fine. I almost convinced myself that it had all been a stress response. Sleep paralysis, hypnagogic hallucinations. The brain is a funny thing. It can make you see and hear and feel things that aren't there. I'm a rational person. I believe in science. But last week, I got stuck in an elevator. Not in my building, in a hotel, while I was traveling for work. I was on the 7th floor, heading down to the lobby. The elevator stopped between the 4th and 3rd floors. The lights flickered. The display went dark. And when the lights came back on, I was in the green hallway, the same pale green walls, the same amber lights, the same too soft carpet. The elevator doors were open behind me. I turned, the doors closed. I pressed the open button. Nothing. I pressed the lobby button. Nothing. I pressed every button. Nothing. I was trapped. I looked down the hallway. The doors were closed this time. All except one. The door at the end. The one where the mirror had been in my dream. That door was open, and light was spilling out. Warm, yellow light, like a lamp. And from inside, I heard a voice. My own voice. "Come on," it said. "You left so suddenly. You didn't even say goodbye." I closed my eyes. I pressed my back against the elevator doors. I told myself it wasn't real. I told myself I was having a panic attack. I told myself that if I just stood there long enough, someone would rescue me and the doors would open onto the hotel lobby and everything would be normal. The voice got closer. "I can see you," it said. "You're right there. You're so close. Just open your eyes. Just look at me. Don't you want to see what you look like from the other side?" I kept my eyes closed. I felt something touch my face. A hand, warm, dry. It traced my cheekbone, my jaw, my lips. The touch was gentle, almost loving. "You're going to forget," the voice said. "You always forget, but I remember. I remember every time you've been here. Every time you've stepped off the elevator. Every time you've looked in a mirror and seen me looking back. You think you've been running away, but you've been running toward me your whole life. Every wrong turn, every dream, every strange feeling that someone was watching you from inside your own reflection." The hand pulled away. I heard footsteps walking back down the hallway. The voice called out one last time, softer now, almost sad. "You'll be back. You always come back. Because you're not you anymore. You are us. You just haven't accepted it yet." The elevator jolted. The lights came back on. The display showed L. The doors opened onto the hotel lobby. A man in a suit stepped in, looked at me, and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. I walked out. I checked my reflection in the glass doors of the hotel entrance. It was me. Normal, tired, scared. But my reflection was wearing different clothes. A shirt I had never owned. A color I would never wear. And it wasn't looking at me. It was looking past me down the hallway behind me where the elevators were, waiting. I'm back in my apartment now, the one on the 3rd floor. No elevator, no stairs to speak of. But there's a mirror in my bathroom. I've covered it with a sheet. I don't look at it. I don't want to know what's looking back. But last night I heard something from behind the sheet. A tapping, soft, rhythmic, like someone knocking on the other side of the glass. And a voice, my voice, whispered, "Let me in. It's cold over here, and I have so much to show you." I didn't answer. I turned on the faucet to drown out the sound. I ran the water for an hour. When I finally turned it off, the tapping had stopped, but the sheet was on the floor, and the mirror was clear. My reflection was sitting on the edge of my bathtub, inside the mirror. It was wearing my clothes now. It had my face, but it was smiling, and it was holding something. A key, an old brass key, tarnished green. It held the key up to the glass. The glass rippled. The key came through. It fell into my sink with a clink. I picked it up. It was warm. And I knew, without knowing how I knew, that it was the key to the door at the end of the green hallway. The door that had been open in my dream. The door that my